Hi, it's John here from UniTasterDays, and I'm going to be introducing this Uni Taster on-demand event today, where we're going to be exploring the Disabled Students Allowance, often known as the DSA. I'm joined today by Bella, who's joining us from the University of Hertfordshire. Bella is an Education Liaison Officer, and it's going to talk about the DSA and various aspects of it, including who might be eligible, how to apply, and much more. And with that, I'll pass things directly to you, Bella.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Hello, everyone. My name is Bella, and I'm one of the Education Liaison Officers here at the University of Hertfordshire. Today, I will be talking to you about what Disabled Students Allowance is, how to know if you are eligible, and I will also cover what the process is like, as I received a DSA when I was a student at university. DSAs are available university-wide, but it is important to know that some universities are more supportive and aware of DSAs than others. This talk will be referencing to my own experiences of DSA whilst I was studying at the University of Hertfordshire, but just contact the university that you're interested in to find out what they offer. And with that, let's begin. So, how did I get a DSA? Well, to keep it short, when I was close to handing in my final year project in my third year of my undergraduate degree, I started getting heart palpitations. I had these investigated by a cardiologist, and they found that there was nothing wrong with my heart. In fact, these palpitations were a physical manifestation of my anxiety, which occurred when my stress levels got really high. I got officially diagnosed with generalized anxiety disorder over that summer. Looking back at my life at university before receiving DSAs, I remember being very worried and panicky to the point where I was so worried about my performance, I would study for 17 hours a day straight. I obviously do not recommend this, and looking back, I had no reason to worry, but at the time it was difficult for me to manage my anxiety, particularly as I didn't even know it was there. After my diagnosis, I contacted the student wellbeing team at the university to see if there was any additional support that I could get. And lo and behold, I was introduced to DSAs. I fully recommend that you apply for a DSA in the summer before your first year of university. Over when you start, and you'll have all your support in place. Do not leave it until your fourth year of study like I did. So let's begin with what DSAs are and what makes you eligible for a DSA. Well, DSAs are a form of non-repayable support, so you get to keep what you receive, that are available to anyone with a physical disability, a long-standing medical condition or illness such as coronary heart disease, diabetes, epilepsy, etc., a serious sensory impairment, such as being deaf or blind, or having serious visual or hearing impairments that cannot be corrected by glasses. UCAS specifies that last little bit. A social communication impairment, such as Asperger's syndrome or other autistic spectrum disorders, mental health conditions, such as anxiety or depression, or specific learning difficulties, such as dyslexia, dyspraxia, ADD or ADHD, etc., that affects your ability to study. Up on the screen right now are the disability codes from UCAS. And as you can see, DSAs cover a wide spectrum of health conditions. When we hear the word disability, we generally make a lot of assumptions, which boil down to what we believe is a disability. When I started university, I never classed my anxiety as being a disability. And for this reason, I never thought I was eligible for extra support for a DSA. Thankfully, I was told by the student wellbeing team here at Herts that in fact I was eligible. So I ended up receiving loads of different support, which I will talk about later. I wish I could say that my particular case was a one-off, but this is sadly not the case. The BBC reported that over half of students who are eligible for a DSA didn't apply for it, either because, like me, they thought they weren't eligible, or because they simply didn't know it was there. This confusion and lack of awareness meant that 60% of eligible students missed out on financial support at university. So after this presentation, please, from the bottom of my heart, double check and see what you are eligible for, whether that is for a DSA, a scholarship, etc. You don't lose anything by checking. So, how can you apply? Well, the first option is that you can apply at the same time as when you apply for student finance. There will be a tick box that you will need to tick, which says something along the lines of, do you suffer from a disability, impairment, or health condition, etc. You must tick this box. Once you have, a DSA section will appear in your student finance application to do this. Fill this in and complete the rest of your student finance application as normal. Alternatively, if you are not receiving or applying for student finance, you can get the DSA long form from the .gov website. Simply fill it in and send it back to the address on the front of the form. The third option, which is the route that I personally took, it is correct for students currently looking at University of Hertfordshire. I cannot confirm that other universities offer the same service. So all you would need to do is just contact your University of Choice's student wellbeing team to find out. The third option means that the student wellbeing team can help you with the application process. All you need to do is confirm your place on UCAS and you can contact them directly. You don't need to wait until you have registered with them. As soon as you click the button on UCAS saying that you are coming to that university, you can contact the student wellbeing team and they can help. This route means that I had support from the student wellbeing team during my application. They helped me through it, and I even had a point of contact who kept me updated with what I needed to do next. Because I did this over the summer, it meant that all my support was ready and waiting for me when I came back in September. For your DSA application, you will need the same information you will need for your student finance application. You will need your passport, national insurance number, and your bank details. You will, however, also need to provide evidence of your condition. This can be in the form of a letter from your doctor or consultant, which confirms your impairment or health condition, or it can be a diagnostic assessment of your learning difficulty from either a psychologist or specialist teacher. Unfortunately, general school and college Form 8 would not be accepted. Your diagnosis or confirmation letter must be from a trained healthcare professional or specialist teacher. So what happens after you have applied? Well, depending on which route you applied through, you will be contacted by either student finance, the DSA company, or the student wellbeing team with the next steps, which may just be providing a little bit more information. Once these first steps are completed, you can then organise or will be booked for your DSA study needs assessment. Now, when I say assessment, everyone thinks of this horrible Dragon's Den situation where they'll ask loads of horrible questions, but in reality, it is nothing like that. You are just having a chat with the assessor. Their job is just to find out how the DSA and your university can help you best. They will ask you about your condition and how it affects you. They will then discuss with you what you find challenging and what support is on offer. Here at Herts, the DSA assessment is actually held on campus within our student wellbeing offices. Again, if you're looking at other universities, double check with their student wellbeing team to see if they hold their DSA assessment on campus too. After your DSA assessment, the assessor will write up your study needs agreement. Effectively, it states what your condition is, how it affects you in particular, and what support the DSA and your university will provide. It is a binding contract, so neither the DSA or your university can break it. It will be sent to you to look over and sign. And once signed, you will send it back to the assessor. It is difficult to pinpoint exactly what you could receive, as each DSA is done on a case-by-case basis. DSAs are not affected by your household income like student finances. It is completely down to your own individual needs. Some examples of DSA support include specialist equipment, for example, a computer or laptop if you need one because of your disability. I chose a laptop, but my partner, who suffers from dyslexia and dyspraxia, chose a computer. Personal preference. My partner also received something called a Dragon headset. It was effectively like a PlayStation headset that plugged into his computer. He could speak into it and it would auto dictate what he said to the Word document on his computer. You could receive a mentor. My initial contact within the student wellbeing team became my mentor. It was nice to have someone outside of family, friends, and my course to speak to. Your mentor will be a trained professional, so they'll be able to offer you excellent advice. Other examples of support include non-medical helpers, such as note takers or readers. You could receive extra travel allowances, and there are other disability-related allowances that can be awarded too. An example of this that the DSA awarded me was to help with printer ink and paper, for example. All I needed to do was send them the receipts and I got reimbursed. If at this point you don't think you're eligible for a DSA, then that is completely fine. You can still access the student wellbeing services. You don't need to get a diagnosis or a letter from your doctor to get an appointment with them, either with an advisor or a counsellor. In fact, the wellbeing advisor that I spoke with who helped me create this presentation recommends that you still go and see the student wellbeing team so they can see what services are available to you. If you are unsure of whether you are eligible for a DSA or you are unsure if your health condition meets the requirements for a DSA, just call up the student wellbeing team at your chosen university. They will be more than happy to help. Some other good to know information for you that is available at University of Hertfordshire and may also be available at other universities. Our student wellbeing team, on top of the services they provide, also have the ability to refer you for services. They can also organise for you to meet an external specialist diagnostic assessor to help you with a diagnosis for a specific learning difficulty like dyslexia or dyspraxia. For this particular service though, you will need to have been registered as a student here. So once you've completed your registration at the beginning of the academic year and you've got your student ID card, you can access that service. We are also lucky enough that we have our own general practitioner or GP on site in our medical centre. You can register with them so your GP is on campus, so you don't need to go home every time you need to speak to a GP. Our GP can help you with your diagnosis letter, which can then be handed to the student wellbeing team. However, you would need to be registered with them. To register is simple, just look up your university and then type in medical centre. Select whether you are an EU international student or a UK student, fill in the online form and submit it. Super easy. A couple of other useful contacts for you. So here we have the University of Hertfordshire Student Wellbeing Team's contact details. You can contact them via the phone number or the email address up on the screen. If you're looking at other universities, their contact details for their student wellbeing team should be available on their websites. There is the DSA number and email just in case you need them. And finally, if you have any questions about university or want to get in touch with current staff and students, you can speak to us on UniBuddy. This is available across all universities. Pretty much all universities will have UniBuddy, and it is an excellent way to talk to current students, not just about DSA, but absolutely anything to do with student life. Just in case you would like more information on DSAs, listed above is the .gov webpage and the UCAS webpage for DSA information. And that brings us to the end of the DSA presentation. I hope it has given you the information you need to feel more confident about the support available. If you would like to know more information about DSAs, do check out the .gov and the UCAS web pages. If you would like to chat to current staff or students, have a look at UniBuddy. That's all from me, and I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Best of luck.